I was 3 months away from marrying the woman I thought was my soulmate. My life looked perfect from the outside. Good job as a senior software engineer in Seattle, a beautiful 3-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill that I had just bought, and a family I trusted completely. My younger brother Tyler had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in our mother's eyes. Lately, Sarah and Tyler had been texting constantly saying they were planning a surprise bachelor party for me. I believed them without question. I thought I knew my family. I thought I knew the woman I was going to marry. I was wrong about everything. Before I tell you how my entire world collapsed in one night, I need to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. If you have ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, completely hit that like button. And subscribe, because what happened next, let us just say, karma works in mysterious ways. Now let me take you back to the beginning of the end. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I missed. But when you trust people, really trust them, you do not look for red flags. You give them the benefit of the doubt. That was my first mistake. I had spent 6 years working my way up at a tech company in Seattle. The hours were brutal, the deadlines relentless, but I loved what I did. When I finally got promoted to senior software engineer, it felt like everything was falling into place. I was 28 years old, financially stable, and ready to start the next chapter of my life. Sarah came into my world 3 years before all of this fell apart. We met at a small coffee shop in Fremont on a rainy Tuesday morning. She was a freelance graphic designer sitting in the corner with her laptop covered in stickers, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun. I spilled my coffee trying to grab a napkin, and she laughed. That laugh. It was warm and genuine, the kind that made you want to hear it again and again. Our first real date was at Olympic National Park. We hiked to a waterfall, and she told me about her dreams of opening her own design studio someday. I told her about the software I was developing, trying not to sound too boring. She listened like every word mattered. 6 months ago, I took her back to that same waterfall and asked her to marry me. She said yes before I even finished the question. We bought the apartment together using every dollar I had saved. It was not huge, but it was ours. 3 bedrooms, hardwood floors, a view of the Space Needle from the kitchen window. We spent weekends painting walls and assembling furniture from stores with impossible instructions. Sarah picked out curtains. I installed shelves. We were building a life. The wedding was set for a lakeside resort an hour outside the city. We had sent out invitations to 200 guests. Sarah had spent months choosing flowers, tasting cakes, arguing with vendors about centerpieces. Everything was planned down to the smallest detail. I just wanted to marry her. The rest was noise. Then there was Tyler. My brother was 3 years younger than me, 25 years old, and still trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. That is how our mother Margaret described it anyway. I had a different perspective. Tyler had always been the baby of the family, the one who got away with everything. When we were kids, I had to earn my allowance by doing chores. Tyler got his for free. When I wanted to go to college, I worked 3 part-time jobs and applied for every scholarship I could find. Tyler got a full ride from our parents, tuition, housing, spending money, everything. He dropped out junior year to find himself. Margaret said he needed time to explore his options. When I suggested that maybe he should get a job, she accused me of being jealous of my own brother. Tyler lived in our parents' house in Bellevue, about 15 miles from Seattle. He had no steady income, no real direction. He called himself an influencer, which meant he posted videos online and had maybe 3,000 followers. It was not enough to pay rent, but Margaret kept slipping him cash whenever he asked. She told me I should be more supportive. After all, I had already made it. Tyler still needed help. I tried not to let it bother me. I had worked hard for everything I had. If Tyler wanted to coast through life on our mother's guilt and money, that was his choice. I had my own life to focus on. I had Sarah. I had the wedding. I had a future that did not involve comparing myself to my brother every single day. 2 months before the wedding, Sarah suggested we make Tyler a groomsman. She said it would mean a lot to him, give him some responsibility. I agreed because I wanted Tyler to feel included. I wanted him to step up for once. That decision haunts me now. Sarah and Tyler started texting all the time after that. I would see her smiling at her phone, typing quickly, laughing at something on the screen. When I asked who she was talking to, she would say Tyler. They were coordinating the bachelor party, she explained. She wanted it to be perfect for me. I believed her. Why would I not? One night I came home around 11 and found Sarah sitting on the couch with her laptop video calling someone. It was 2 in the morning and she was still talking. I walked closer and saw Tyler on the screen. They were laughing about something, speaking in that easy, comfortable way that comes from spending too much time together. "Sarah, it is late," I said. "You should get some sleep." She waved me off. "Just finishing up some party details, baby. Go to bed." "I will be there soon." I went to bed alone that night. She did not come to our room until almost 3. When I asked about it the next morning, she kissed my cheek and said they had gotten carried away planning surprises for me. I should not worry. Everything was under control. The following week, I came home early from work one afternoon and checked our doorbell camera footage. I had not meant to snoop. I was just curious about a package delivery. Instead, I saw Tyler arriving at our apartment at 10 in the morning. He stayed for 3 hours. Sarah never mentioned he had been there. That evening, I asked her casually if anything interesting had happened during the day. She said no, just worked on some design projects. I pressed a little. "Did anyone stop by?" She paused, then laughed. "Oh, right. Tyler came by to get measurements for some party decorations. I forgot to mention it. We just had coffee and talked." I wanted to believe her. I told myself I was being paranoid. Sarah loved me. Tyler was my brother. They were planning something special for me. The uncomfortable feeling in my chest was just wedding stress. Everyone said planning a wedding was difficult. This was normal. Everything was fine. But something felt off. I could not shake it. I pushed it down anyway, buried it beneath work deadlines and venue deposits and seating charts. I told myself I was being ridiculous. After all, they were planning something special for me, right? The night that destroyed everything started like any other Friday. I was supposed to work late, finishing up a major project that had been hanging over my head for weeks. We were launching new software and the deadline was tight. I had told Sarah not to wait up for me. I would probably be home around 10 or 11. But we finished early. The project came together faster than expected, and my boss told everyone to go home and enjoy the weekend. I was out of the office by 7, driving back to Capitol Hill with the radio playing some song I did not recognize. I felt good, accomplished, ready to surprise Sarah with flowers and maybe order her favorite Thai food. Tyler's car was parked in front of our building, a beat-up Honda Civic that I had co-signed the loan for 2 years ago because he had no credit. I figured he was dropping off something for the party. Maybe finalizing plans. The bachelor party was only 2 weeks away. I grabbed my bag from the passenger seat and headed upstairs. Our apartment was on the 3rd floor, and I took the stairs 2 at a time. I had my key ready, turning it quietly in the lock. I wanted to surprise Sarah. I was smiling. Actually smiling. The apartment was dim. No lights in the living room or kitchen. I set my bag down by the door and called out her name. No answer. Then I heard it. A sound from our bedroom. Movement. Voices. Low and urgent. My heart started pounding. Something was wrong. Every instinct in my body knew it, but my brain had not caught up yet. I walked down the hallway, my footsteps silent on the hardwood floor. The bedroom door was slightly open. I could see shadows moving inside. I pushed the door open. Time stopped. My vision narrowed to a tunnel. I could not breathe. The room spun around me like I was on some sick carnival ride. Sarah and Tyler were in our bed. My bed. The bed I had picked out, paid for, assembled with my own hands. They were tangled in sheets that Sarah and I had bought together at some department store on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Sarah screamed. She grabbed the comforter and pulled it up to her chest. Tyler jumped up like he had been electrocuted, scrambling for his pants on the floor. His face was red, panicked. "Ben, man, I can explain," he started. I just stood there. My body would not move. My mouth would not form words. I felt like I was watching this happen to someone else. This could not be real. This could not be my life. "Ben, please," Sarah was crying now. "This is not what it looks like." That snapped something in me. The fog cleared for just a second, long enough for me to speak. My voice came out flat, cold, unfamiliar even to my own ears. "How long?" Neither of them answered. They just stared at me with guilty, terrified faces. How long, I repeated louder this time. Tyler pulled his shirt over his head, not meeting my eyes. 2 months, he mumbled. I am sorry, bro. 2 months. The words echoed in my head. 2 months. That meant it started right when they began planning the bachelor party. Every text message, every late-night video call, every time Tyler came to my apartment while I was at work. It was not about a party. It was never about a party. Sarah tried to move toward me. Ben, I love you. It was a mistake. We were drunk one night, and it just happened, and then it kept happening, but it did not mean anything. Please. I held up my hand, stopping her. Drunk for 2 months straight, get out. Ben, let us talk about this, Tyler said, taking a step closer. Something inside me broke. I had never raised my voice at Tyler in our entire lives. I had always been the understanding older brother, the one who let things slide, who made excuses for him. Not anymore. Do not you dare call me bro. You are not my brother. Get the hell out of my house. My voice shook, not with sadness, but with rage. Pure, white-hot rage that I had never felt before. Tyler grabbed his shoes and phone. Sarah was still crying, reaching for clothes scattered on the floor. They left. I heard the front door close, then silence. I stood in that bedroom for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. I looked around at everything we had built together. Wedding magazines stacked on the nightstand. Pre-wedding photos hanging on the wall, both of us smiling like idiots who thought they had the world figured out. Sarah's engagement ring sitting on the kitchen counter where she had left it. I walked to the living room and sat down on the floor, my back against the couch. I did not cry. I just sat there staring at nothing, trying to process what had just happened. The woman I was supposed to marry in 4 weeks had been sleeping with my brother for 2 months. In my home. In my bed. My phone buzzed around 10. I looked at the screen. Mom. I almost did not answer. But some part of me, some stupid, hopeful part, thought maybe she would understand. Maybe she would be on my side for once. Ben Tyler told me what happened. We need to talk. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Like she was about to mediate a business deal, not address the fact that her youngest son had destroyed her oldest son's life. Mom, he slept with my fiancée. There is nothing to talk about. It takes 2 people, Ben. Sarah made a choice too, and Tyler feels terrible. I could not believe what I was hearing. Are you seriously defending him right now? I am not defending anyone. I am trying to keep this family together. The wedding is in a month. We can work through this. Work through this, Mom. They betrayed me for 2 months. In my own home. Tyler is your brother. He made a mistake. You need to forgive him. That is what family does. What about what I need? What about what he did to me? You are being selfish. Think about the family. Think about all the guests who are coming. We cannot cancel the wedding now. What will people say? That was it. That was the moment I realized my mother cared more about appearances than she did about me. She was worried about what people would say. Not about how I felt. Not about the fact that her son had been betrayed in the worst possible way. Sarah called me crying, she continued. She said you kicked them out. That was cruel, Ben. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Cruel. I was the cruel one. Come to the house tomorrow. We will all sit down and talk like adults. Tyler wants to apologize properly. I hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there in the dark, phone in my hand, realizing I had lost more than my fiancée that night. I had lost my mother, too. She had chosen Tyler. Again. Like she always had. But this time I was not going to just take it. I did not go to my parents' house the next day. I did not answer Margaret's calls or Tyler's text messages. Sarah kept trying to reach me too, leaving voicemails that I deleted without listening to. I went to work like nothing had happened. I sat at my desk and stared at code on my computer screen. My coworkers asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just tired. No one pushed. But I was not fine. I was planning. All my life I had been the reasonable one, the one who let things slide, the one who forgave Tyler because that was what good brothers did, the one who never made waves because Margaret said family should stick together no matter what. I was done being that person. If they wanted me to forgive and forget for the sake of family, they were about to learn what happens when you push someone too far. That afternoon, I opened my laptop and started writing an email. I wrote it carefully, choosing every word with precision. Then I sent it to all 200 people on our wedding guest list. Every single person who had been invited to watch me marry Sarah. The email was simple, direct, honest. Dear friends and family, I am writing to inform you that my wedding to Sarah has been canceled. The reason is simple. Sarah and my brother Tyler have been having an affair for the past 2 months. I discovered them together in our home in our bed. I am sharing this because I believe in honesty, and I will not participate in covering up betrayal for the sake of appearances. Thank you to everyone who was planning to celebrate with us. I am sorry for any inconvenience. Those who truly care about me will understand why I had to do this. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Within an hour, my phone exploded. Text messages, calls, voicemails. Everyone wanted to know if it was true. Some people expressed sympathy. Others were shocked. A few said, I should not have aired private business publicly. Margaret called, screaming, How could you embarrass the family like this? Do you have any idea what you have done? I answered this time. My voice was calm. Cold. I did not embarrass anyone, Mom. Tyler and Sarah did that themselves. I just told the truth. She hung up on me. Tyler sent a string of panicked messages about how I had ruined his life, how everyone was calling him, how he could not show his face anywhere. I blocked his number. But I was not done. 2 years ago, Tyler had needed a car. He had no credit, no savings, no job history. The dealership would not approve him for a loan unless someone co-signed. I was that someone. I put my name on the line so my little brother could have transportation to job interviews that never seemed to work out. Monday morning, I called the bank. I explained that I wanted to remove myself as co-signer. The representative said that was possible, but Tyler would need to refinance the loan on his own or face repossession. I said I understood. Tyler called me 3 hours later. Dude, they are going to take my car. What am I supposed to do? Should have thought about that before you slept with my fiancée, I said, and hung up. I also remembered the $5,000 I had lent Tyler a year ago. He said he was starting a business, some kind of online consulting thing that never materialized. He promised to pay me back within 6 months. That was 12 months ago. I had stopped asking about it because Margaret said I should not pressure him. I contacted a lawyer and sent Tyler a formal demand letter. He had 30 days to repay the loan in full. If he did not, I would file a small claims lawsuit. Margaret called again. You are really going to sue your own brother? He is not my brother anymore, I said. He is just someone who owes me money. Over the next week, I heard through mutual friends what was happening on the other side. Tyler and Sarah tried to date after the scandal. I guess they figured if they had blown up everything anyway, they might as well see if it was worth it. It was not. Everyone in our social circle knew what they had done. Sarah started losing design clients. People did not want to work with someone who had that kind of reputation. Tyler could not go anywhere without people whispering. Even at the grocery store, at the gym, everywhere he went, people knew. Margaret kept giving him money, but my father Robert had cut Tyler's allowance significantly. Tyler was hemorrhaging cash, trying to keep his car from being repossessed, trying to pay me back, trying to survive without actual job skills. 1 week after I sent the email, Margaret demanded I come to dinner at their house. It was not a request. It was a summons. We need to talk as a family, she said. This has gone on long enough. I agreed to go. Not because I wanted reconciliation, but because I had things I needed to say face to face. I drove to their house in Bellevue on a Tuesday evening. The sun was setting, casting everything in orange and pink light. It felt wrong, too beautiful for what was about to happen. Margaret answered the door. Her face was tight, lips pressed together. Tyler was sitting on the couch, looking miserable. Robert was in his usual chair, quiet as always. We sat down around the dining room table like we were having some kind of business meeting. Margaret folded her hands in front of her and began. We are here to move forward. Tyler has apologized. Now, Ben, you need to... I cut her off. I need to what? Forgive, pretend it did not happen. He is your brother. Family forgives. I leaned forward. Let me ask you something, Mom. If I had slept with Tyler's girlfriend, would you be saying the same thing? She did not answer. No, you would not. Because I am not Tyler. I have never been Tyler. The golden child who can do no wrong. That is not fair, Tyler started. I turned to face him. Fair? You want to talk about fair? You slept with my fiancée in my bed in my house that I worked 6 years to afford. The house you could never buy because you have never held a job longer than 3 months. Tyler, shut up. He had nothing to say to that because it was true. I looked back at Margaret. You told me to think about the family. Well, I have. And I realized something. You were never my family. You were Tyler's family. I was just there. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. How can you say that because it is true? And I am done pretending it is not. I stood up ready to leave. Ready to walk out of that house and never come back. Son, wait. It was Robert, my father who never spoke up, who always let Margaret run the show. He was standing now looking at his wife with something I had never seen before. Anger. He is right, Margaret. We did favor Tyler. I let you do it because I did not want to fight. But Ben is right. Robert, you cannot be serious. I am serious. Tyler did something unforgivable. And instead of holding him accountable, you are trying to force Ben to sweep it under the rug. Robert turned to me. I am sorry, son. I should have said something years ago. I should have stood up for you. If you decide to cut us off, I will understand. But know that I am proud of you. Proud of the man you became. Despite everything. It was the first time my father had ever said those words to me. I felt something crack inside my chest, something that had been frozen for a very long time. I nodded. I did not say thank you. I did not say I forgave him. I just nodded. Then I walked out. I walked out of that house knowing I would never go back. Not for holidays, not for birthdays, not ever. And, for the first time in weeks, I felt light. Like a weight I had been carrying my entire life had finally been lifted. 2 weeks after that dinner, I heard through a mutual friend that Tyler and Sarah had broken up. Apparently the guilt and shame were too much. Or maybe they just realized that what they had was not worth destroying everything for. Sarah moved back to Oregon where her parents lived. She deactivated all her social media accounts, disappeared from the circles we had shared. I heard she was working at a small design firm, keeping her head down, trying to rebuild her reputation. Tyler was still living with our parents. Robert told me during one of our occasional text exchanges that Tyler was struggling with depression. He barely left his room. Margaret was beside herself, not understanding why her baby boy was so sad. Margaret sent me one final text message. Are you happy now? Look what you have done to your brother. I did not respond. I blocked her number. I kept in touch with Robert. Just texts, nothing deep. He would send me articles about technology he thought I might find interesting. I would respond with a thumbs up or a short comment. It was not much, but it was something. He had stood up for me when it mattered. That counted for something. The first 2 months after everything fell apart were brutal. I would wake up in my new apartment, a small studio I had moved into after selling the place Sarah and I had shared, and forget for a moment that my life had changed. Then reality would crash back in. I started going to therapy. I found a woman named Dr. Patel who specialized in family trauma and betrayal. She did not offer me easy answers or quick fixes. Instead, she helped me understand something important. You cannot control how others treat you, she said during one of our sessions. But you can control how you respond. You chose self-respect over fake peace. That takes courage. I did not feel courageous. I felt broken. But slowly, week by week, session by session, I started to feel less shattered. I threw myself into work. The promotion I had gotten before everything exploded came with new responsibilities, and I welcomed them. I took on extra projects. I stayed late. I volunteered for the difficult assignments no one else wanted. 3 months after the scandal, I was promoted again, this time to team lead. My salary increased by 30%. On weekends, I started hiking again. Olympic National Park became my sanctuary. The place where I had proposed to Sarah, the place that should have been ruined by memory, became the place that healed me instead. I hiked those trails alone at first, working through everything in my head with each step. Then I joined a hiking club. It was awkward at first showing up to group meetups where everyone knew each other, but they welcomed me anyway. I met a guy named Marcus, who became a good friend. He was a high school teacher, funny and kind, with no connection to my old life. When I eventually told him what had happened, he just shook his head. "The fact that you walked away shows strength, not weakness," he said. "Most people would have stayed and been miserable." After 6 months, I felt like I could breathe again. The anger that had consumed me was fading, replaced by something calmer. Acceptance, maybe, or just exhaustion. Either way, I was tired of being angry. I started dating again. Nothing serious at first. Just coffee dates with women I met through apps or friends. I was honest about not being ready for anything heavy. Most of them appreciated the honesty. Then I met Amy through the hiking club. She was 32, an architect with a dry sense of humor and a love for mountains that matched mine. We started talking after a particularly difficult trail, both of us exhausted and slightly delirious from lack of oxygen at elevation. We took things slow. I told her about Sarah and Tyler early on. I figured she deserved to know what she was getting into. She listened without judgment, then shared her own story about an ex-boyfriend who had cheated. We bonded over our scars. Amy did not try to fix me. She did not push for commitment or promises. We just spent time together hiking and talking and learning to trust again. It was exactly what I needed. 1 year after I discovered Sarah and Tyler together, I found myself standing on top of Mount Rainier with Amy and a group from the hiking club. We had summited at dawn, watching the sun rise over the Cascade Mountains. Everything below us was bathed in gold and pink light. I looked down at Seattle in the distance, thinking about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the anger, the lawsuits and blocked numbers and burned bridges. All of it had led me here to this moment, standing above the world with people who actually cared about me. I thought about Tyler for the first time in months. I wondered if he was happy. I wondered if he regretted what he had done. Then I realized I did not actually care. His life was his own now. It had nothing to do with me. People will tell you that family is everything, that you should forgive and forget. But sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is walk away. I did not burn my life down out of revenge. I did it because I refused to live in a house built on lies and favoritism. Tyler and Sarah taught me what betrayal looks like. My mother taught me what conditional love feels like. But I taught myself what self-respect looks like. And that is a lesson no one can take away from me. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you are born into, and sometimes burning it all down is the only way to see clearly enough to rebuild. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to walk away from family for your own peace of mind? Have you ever chosen yourself over keeping the peace? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and your stories matter. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not already, because I share more stories about choosing yourself, setting boundaries, and finding strength you did not know you had. And share this with someone who needs to hear that it is okay to walk away from toxicity, even when it wears a familiar face. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was not easy to hear, just like it was not easy to live through. But I hope it reminded you that you deserve respect, loyalty, and love that does not come with conditions. Take care of yourselves out there. You are worth more than you think.